There comes a moment in every person's life, a moment when everything you thought was certain begins to fall apart. The people you trusted disappear. The plans you made collapse. The dreams you held so close feel out of reach. And in that silence, in that darkness, there's only one question echoing in your mind: can I really make it through this? That's the moment that defines you. Not when life is easy, not when everything is working, but when it feels like the ground beneath you is gone. And yet, somehow you find a way to stand, because strength isn't what you show when things are perfect. Strength is what rises inside you when there's every reason to give up, and you don't. Today, I want to talk to the fighter in you, the part of you that refuses to stay down, because no matter what's happened in your life, the heartbreaks, the failures, the betrayals, the storms, there's a version of you that is unbreakable. And once you awaken that version, nothing, and I mean nothing, can stop you again. So I invite you to stay with me for the next few minutes, not just to listen, but to feel, because by the end of this talk, you won't just understand what unshakable strength is, you'll become it. Let me tell you something straight from the heart: everything you want to become, every level of strength you dream of reaching, every mountain you're trying to climb, it all starts in one place: your belief. Not the belief that comes from other people's compliments, not the belief that shows up when things are going your way, but that quiet, unshakable belief that comes from deep within you, the one that says, I can handle this, I was built for this. Because here's the truth: most people never realize how powerful their mind really is. They underestimate it. They hand it over to fear, to self-doubt, to the opinions of others. They wait for someone to tell them they're enough before they start believing it themselves. And that's why they keep getting stuck. But the ones who rise, the ones who build an unbreakable life, they don't wait for belief, they create it. Belief is a decision, not a gift. It's a muscle that grows only when you train it. Every time you face something you think you can't handle, that's your opportunity to strengthen that muscle. Most people run from pain, they avoid challenges. But the truth is, your mind becomes powerful when it's tested. Just like steel becomes stronger when it's forged in fire, your belief becomes unstoppable when it's challenged and refined by adversity. Think about a time in your life when you were scared, really scared, and yet you pushed through anyway. Maybe it was speaking up for yourself when your voice was shaking. Maybe it was starting over after losing everything. Maybe it was showing up when your heart was broken. That moment right there, that's belief in motion. You didn't know how it would end, but something inside you said, keep going. That voice, that's the real you. The problem is, for most of us, that voice gets buried under layers of noise: the noise of comparison, the noise of fear, the noise of the world telling you that you're not enough. But here's the secret: you can control that noise. You can quiet it down and tune into that deeper frequency, the one that knows your worth, the one that's never doubted you for a second. You see, your belief system is like the foundation of a skyscraper. You can't build something tall and lasting on weak ground. If your foundation is built on fear, everything you build will collapse the moment life shakes you. But when your foundation is belief, true grounded belief, nothing can move you. Life can hit you hard, but you'll bend, not break. You'll wobble, but you won't fall. Every day you're programming your mind, whether you know it or not. Every thought, every word, every emotion you entertain, it's shaping your future. So ask yourself, what are you telling yourself every day? Are you reinforcing your power, or are you feeding your weakness? Are you saying, I can figure this out? Or are you saying, this always happens to me? Because whatever you repeat, you start to believe. And what you believe, you start to live. If you want to build unshakable strength, you have to take command of your inner dialogue. You've got to become the guardian of your own mind when that negative voice creeps in, and it will. You interrupt it. You say, no, that's not my truth anymore. You replace it with something empowering, something that builds you, something that reminds you who the hell you really are. You've got to feed your belief daily. Just like your body needs food, your mind needs fuel. Read something that inspires you. Listen to something that lifts you. Surround yourself with people who see your greatness even when you forget it, because your environment either feeds your strength or feeds your fear. There's no in between. And listen, believing in yourself doesn't mean you'll never doubt again. It doesn't mean you'll always feel confident. It means that even when you doubt, you still move forward. Even when fear shows up, you don't let it lead. You don't have to feel ready to be ready. You just need to decide. You decide that no matter how hard it gets, no matter how uncertain it feels, you'll keep going until the belief catches up. And here's the most powerful truth of all: when you believe in yourself long enough, the world starts to believe in you too. People can sense it. They can feel your certainty. They respond to your energy. You don't even have to convince them. They'll see it in your eyes, in your posture, in the way you carry yourself, because belief is contagious. It spreads, it elevates everything it touches. So today, right now, I want you to make a decision, a real decision. Not a maybe, not I'll try, but a decision that says, I will no longer doubt my strength. I will no longer give my power away to fear. I will build my belief every single day until it becomes unshakable. Because once you do that, once you decide that your mind belongs to you, there is nothing in this world you cannot face, nothing you cannot build, nothing you cannot overcome. That's where unshakable strength begins. Inside you, in the quiet moment when you decide to believe no matter what. Pain, that word alone makes most people flinch. We spend so much of our lives trying to avoid it, hide from it, or numb it. But here's what I've learned. Pain isn't the enemy. Pain is a messenger. It's life's greatest teacher if you're willing to listen. It's the fire that forges strength, the storm that tests your foundation, the weight that builds your emotional muscle. Without pain, there is no growth. Without struggle, there is no transformation. Every great story, every powerful comeback, every unbreakable soul you've ever admired was built in moments of pain. The difference between people who crumble under pain and those who rise because of it isn't luck. It's meaning. The ones who rise don't see pain as punishment. They see it as preparation. They use it. They turn it into power. They understand that pain doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to develop you. It's the universe asking, how bad do you really want it? When you face pain, you have two choices. You can let it define you, or you can let it refine you. Most people choose the first. They replay the story of their suffering until it becomes their identity. I was betrayed. I failed. They left me. I lost everything. They repeat these words until the pain becomes their prison. But the truth is, the same pain that breaks one person can build another. The pain that made you cry last year could be the reason you're strong enough to lead this year, if you decide to use it differently. You see, pain doesn't just show up in your life randomly. It's the invitation to evolve. It shows you where you still need to grow, what you still need to let go of, and who you're becoming. The challenge is that most people are so focused on escaping it that they never see the lesson it's trying to teach. When you change the question from, why is this happening to me, to what is this trying to teach me, everything shifts. Suddenly, pain has a purpose. It becomes part of your process instead of your punishment. Think about it. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in your life probably came after the hardest moments. Maybe it was the heartbreak that forced you to finally love yourself, the failure that taught you humility, the rejection that redirected you towards something greater. The pain didn't leave you weaker. It stripped away what you didn't need. It carved out space for something stronger to grow. Pain has a way of revealing who you really are. When everything's going well, it's easy to smile, to be kind, to stay positive. But when life hits you, when you're down to nothing, when the lights go out, when you're alone with your thoughts, that's when your true strength shows up. That's when you find out what you're made of. And let me tell you something, there's more strength in you than you can even imagine. But you'll never meet that version of yourself until you walk through the fire. We live in a world that tries to convince us that comfort is the goal. Avoid pain, play it safe, stay stable, don't take risks. But comfort kills growth. You don't get stronger by staying comfortable. You get stronger by embracing the resistance. Just like a muscle only grows when it's stretched and torn a little, your spirit grows when it's tested. You have to lean into the discomfort, not away from it, because pain is not there to hold you back. It's there to wake you up. And here's something I want you to really hear: the pain you're carrying right now, it won't last forever. It's temporary. It's shaping you, molding you, preparing you for the next chapter of your life. But it's up to you what that chapter looks like. You can come out bitter, or you can come out better. You can let the pain close your heart, or you can let it open you wider than ever before. When you shift your perspective on pain, everything changes. Suddenly, you start to see that the heartbreak made you wiser. The loss made you grateful. The failure made you fearless. You start realizing that life has never been against you. It's been training you. Every wound, every scar, every tear, it's all proof that you survived. Proof that you kept going. Proof that you're still here. So don't run from your pain anymore. Don't bury it. Don't numb it. Sit with it. Feel it fully. Let it teach you what it came to teach. Then stand up and say, thank you. Because the very thing that once felt like it was breaking you might just be the thing that builds the strongest version of you. And one day, you'll look back at this moment, the one that hurt the most, and you'll realize it wasn't your ending. It was your awakening. Most people think strength is about never breaking down, about being tough, about putting on that face that says, I'm fine, even when you're falling apart inside. But that's not real strength. That's pretending. True strength isn't about being unshaken on the outside. It's about being unshakable on the inside. It's about emotional resilience. It's about the ability to feel everything: fear, pain, anger, disappointment, and still choose how you respond instead of letting those emotions control you. You can't live a powerful life if you're a prisoner to your emotions. You can't build peace while you're constantly reacting to every storm that passes through your heart. Life will test you. People will let you down. Things will not go your way. And if you don't master your emotional world, you'll keep reliving the same pain in different forms. Emotional resilience doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you don't drown in what you feel. It means you learn to breathe through the chaos and stay grounded in who you are, even when everything around you is shaking. There was a time in my life when I thought being strong meant keeping it all in. I thought emotions made you weak, so I buried everything: anger, sadness, fear. I built walls so high even I couldn't see over them. But all that did was turn me into a ticking time bomb. Because when you suppress what you feel, it doesn't disappear, it festers. It grows in silence until it explodes. That's not strength, that's avoidance. Real strength is when you can sit in your pain, look it in the eye and say, you're not going to control me. The truth is, emotions are energy. They're information. They tell you where your wounds are, where your limits are, where your truth is buried. But most people don't take the time to listen. They either run from their emotions or they become consumed by them. The key is learning to use your emotions as guidance, not as commands. When anger rises, don't let it drive your actions. Let it show you what needs to change. When sadness comes, Don't let it define you. Let it reveal what truly matters. When fear shows up, don't hide from it. Listen to what it's trying to protect you from, and then choose courage anyway. Life's not about eliminating negative emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about learning how to feel deeply, but stay steady. That's what emotional resilience looks like. You can be heartbroken and still hopeful. You can be afraid and still take the next step. You can be hurt and still choose to love again. That's power. You've probably met people who seem unshakable no matter what happens to them. They lose their job and they stay calm. Someone betrays them and they don't spiral in a rage. It's not because they don't feel pain. It's because they've trained themselves to respond instead of react. They've built emotional muscles. Just like physical strength, emotional strength comes from resistance. Every time life tests you and you choose not to break, you're building resilience. Every time you catch yourself before reacting, every time you breathe through the chaos instead of adding to it, every time you choose peace when anger feels easier, you're growing stronger. And here's the thing, resilience doesn't mean you never fall apart. It means when you do, you know how to put yourself back together. It means you can feel the pain, process it, and release it instead of letting it poison your future. It means you can forgive yourself for the days you weren't at your best and still keep moving forward. Emotional resilience is the foundation of peace. Without it, every little thing will knock you off balance, but nothing can keep you down for long. You've got to train your emotional resilience every single day. You do it through awareness, through presence, through honesty. The next time you feel yourself losing control, pause. Just take one deep breath. Ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? What is this emotion trying to tell me? That pause, it's everything. It's the space between reaction and response. It's where your power lies. The more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. And let's be real, sometimes emotional resilience isn't about standing tall. Sometimes it's about getting through one more day. Sometimes it's just saying, I don't have it all figured out, but I'm not giving up. That's resilience too. It's not perfection, it's persistence, it's grace. It's refusing to let your emotions define your destiny. You deserve to live from a place of calm strength instead of constant chaos. You deserve to lead your emotions, not chase them. Because when you master your emotions, you master your life. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the creator of your experience. So the next time life throws a storm your way, don't fight to control it. Just anchor yourself, stand in your truth. Feel the wind, feel the rain, feel everything, and still choose to stay grounded. Because emotional resilience isn't about avoiding the storm. It's about learning to stand in the middle of it and whisper, I am still here. Everyone wants to be strong when it counts. Everyone wants to be confident, focused, unshakable. But what most people never understand is that real strength doesn't show up by accident. It's built through consistency. It's built in the small, often boring, unseen moments when no one's watching. Strength isn't what you do once in a while when you feel inspired. It's what you do every single day, especially when you don't feel like it. Because the truth is, motivation fades. Feelings change. But discipline will carry you when motivation disappears. We live in a world addicted to instant results. Everyone wants success now. They want transformation overnight. They want the reward without the repetition. But that's not how life works. Every person who's ever built something great, whether it's a business, a body, a mindset, a legacy, they built it brick by brick, day by day, through grit, focus, and consistency. They did the work even when it wasn't exciting, even when no one clapped for them, because consistency is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Think about a seed. You don't plant it and check it every 5 minutes, demanding results. You water it, you nurture it, you trust the process, even when you can't see what's happening under the soil. That's what grit looks like. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's how you grow something that lasts. Too many people give up because they mistake slow progress for failure. They think if they don't see immediate results, it's not working. But consistency isn't about speed. It's about direction. It's about showing up every day and laying another brick toward the life you want, no matter how small it feels. Because small steps done consistently create unstoppable momentum. One day you'll look back and realize those small, invisible efforts were the turning point. There are days you'll wake up ready to take on the world, and then there are days you won't even want to get out of bed. That's normal. The key is to show up anyway. The key is to keep the promise you made to yourself, even when it's inconvenient. Because every time you do, you're telling your brain, I can trust myself. That's where real confidence comes from, self-trust. And self-trust only comes from doing what you said you'd do over and over again. Some people wait to feel ready. They say, I'll start when I have more time, more energy, more motivation. But if you wait for the perfect moment, you'll be waiting forever. The perfect moment is the moment you decide, the moment you stop negotiating with your excuses and just start. Because the truth is, consistency doesn't require perfection, it requires commitment. You're gonna mess up, you're gonna fall short sometimes, that's okay. What matters is that you get back up and keep moving forward. Grit is built when you keep going, not when it's easy, but when it's hard. It's forged in those moments when your body says stop and your heart whispers or more. It's the discipline to take action even when the results aren't visible yet. It's the mindset that says, I'm not giving up just because it's uncomfortable, because comfort is the enemy of growth. You can't build strength in the space of comfort. You build it in the space of resistance. And here's the beauty of consistency. It compounds. Just like interest in a bank account, small daily deposits of effort create massive long-term growth. One workout won't transform your body, but 100 will. One positive thought won't change your life, but repeating it every day will rewire your brain. One act of courage won't make you fearless, but consistent courage will make you unstoppable. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that align with your highest vision. You've got to become obsessed with the process, not just the outcome. Because when you fall in love with the process, when you start to value effort over applause, results stop being your motivation, they become your byproduct. The process is where the real transformation happens. That's where you discover your power. That's where you earn your strength. Consistency isn't just about action, it's also about belief. Every time you follow through, you're reinforcing the identity of someone who doesn't quit. You're rewriting your story, you're saying, this is who I am now. And eventually that identity becomes your new normal. You don't have to try to be strong, you just are. When life gets heavy and your mind tells you to stop, remember this, the hardest days are the most important ones. The days you don't want to show up are the ones that build you the most. Anyone can take action when it feels good. True strength is doing it when it doesn't, because grit is born in the grind, not in the glory. So keep showing up, keep pushing forward, keep building that consistency until it becomes part of who you are. Because one day you'll wake up and realize you've become everything you once thought you couldn't be, all because you refused to stop. There comes a time in life when your strength alone isn't enough to carry you. You can have the discipline, the resilience, the grit. But if you don't know why you're fighting, eventually the weight of it all will pull you down. Because strength without purpose is like running in the dark. You're moving fast, but you don't know where you're going. Purpose gives pain meaning. It gives struggle direction. It's the reason you get back up when everything in you wants to stay down. When life hits you hard, when everything you've built seems to crumble, purpose is what keeps you from giving up. It's the anchor that holds you steady when the storm feels endless. It's the light that cuts through the fog of confusion and fear and reminds you, this is why I'm here. This is what I'm fighting for. Without that anchor, even the strongest person eventually drifts. But when you're rooted in purpose, you can endure almost anything. You see, life is not about avoiding suffering. It's about finding something worth suffering for, something so meaningful, so real, that the pain becomes part of the process, not a reason to quit. That's where faith comes in, because there are moments when logic won't make sense anymore. When you've done everything right, given everything you have, and still nothing seems to work. That's when faith steps in. Faith says, keep going even when you can't see the road ahead. Faith says, there's something being built here, even if you can't see it yet. Faith and purpose work together. Purpose gives you direction. Faith gives you the fuel. Faith is that invisible power that whispers, there's more for you. It's not about religion, it's about trust. It's the belief that even in chaos, something bigger is guiding you. That everything happening is not happening to you but for you. That the detours, the delays, the disappointments, they're all shaping you into the person you need to become to fulfill what you're meant to do. So many people go through life without that sense of purpose. They wake up, go through the motions, chase achievements, collect things, but inside they feel empty. They're successful on the outside, but restless on the inside because they haven't connected to something deeper. You can't fill that void with money, with attention, with success. The only thing that fills it is meaning. Purpose gives your life weight. It makes you stand taller, move differently, speak with conviction. And here's the truth, your purpose doesn't have to be something grand or dramatic. You don't have to change the entire world. Maybe your purpose is to be the best parent you can be. Maybe it's to inspire others through your example. Maybe it's to create something that helps one person believe in themselves again. Purpose isn't measured by size, it's measured by depth. It's not about how many people you touch. It's about how deeply you live your truth. When you know your purpose, obstacles become part of your preparation. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? You start asking, what is this preparing me for? And that single shift changes everything, because now even your struggles start working for you. Your failures become fuel. Your pain becomes perspective. Your detours become directions. Purpose transforms every setback into a stepping stone. Faith amplifies that transformation. Faith reminds you that timing matters. It tells you that just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Faith gives you patience in the waiting, strength in the uncertainty, and calm in the chaos. It's the voice inside that says, hold on, you're closer than you think. And here's the most powerful thing. When you live with purpose and faith, you stop being reactive and start being intentional. You stop chasing validation and start walking in alignment. You don't need the world to tell you you're doing the right thing. You just know. That's when peace starts to replace pressure. That's when confidence becomes natural, not forced. That's when strength stops being about holding it all together and starts being about flowing with what's meant for you. Your purpose will evolve as you do. What drove you 5 years ago may not drive you now, and that's okay. The key is to keep listening. Keep checking in with your heart. Keep asking yourself, what matters most to me right now? What would make my life meaningful if everything else was taken away? Because when you live from that place, your energy changes. People feel it. Life starts to align with you instead of against you. When you move through life guided by faith and anchored in purpose, fear loses its grip. Uncertainty stops feeling like a threat. It becomes an adventure. You start to realize that you were never lost, just being redirected. That everything you went through was preparing you to carry the message you're meant to share, to become the person you were meant to be. And when that understanding sinks in, when your strength, your pain, your faith, and your purpose all merge into one, there's nothing left to prove, nothing left to fear. There's only peace. There's only presence. There's only power. Because the moment you know why you're here, you become unstoppable. You can have the strongest mindset in the world, the deepest purpose, the most unshakable belief. But if you surround yourself with the wrong people, eventually their energy will shape yours. Because no matter how independent you think you are, environment always wins. You become like the people you spend the most time with. Their habits, their thoughts, their energy, their standards, they all rub off on you whether you realize it or not. So if you want to stay strong no matter what, you have to be intentional about who you let into your world. The truth is, energy is contagious. Spend time around people who complain, and you'll start to find more things to complain about. Spend time with people who always find reasons to be grateful, and suddenly you'll start to see blessings everywhere. The people closest to you either fuel your fire or drain it. They either remind you of your strength or make you forget it. And one of the hardest but most powerful things you'll ever do is learn to let go of people who keep you small. That doesn't mean you stop caring about them. It means you stop allowing their limitations to become yours. Some people aren't meant to go with you into the next chapter of your life, and that's okay. Growth requires separation sometimes. You can't heal in the same environment that broke you. You can't stay surrounded by people who only see the old version of you and expect to evolve into the new one. If you're constantly trying to lift people who refuse to stand, you'll eventually exhaust yourself. Love them, but don't let them drain your light. You can't save anyone who doesn't want to be saved, but you can inspire them by rising higher yourself. The best thing you can ever do for the people around you is to become the example. Show them what's possible. Show them what strength looks like when it's grounded in love, consistency, and vision. And on the other side of that truth is something equally powerful. You also need people who call you higher, people who challenge you to become more, the kind of people who won't let you settle for average. Because sometimes strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about having the courage to lean on others when you need to. It's about surrounding yourself with people who see the greatness in you even when you've forgotten it. You've probably had moments when you were at your lowest and someone believed in you when you couldn't believe in yourself. Maybe it was a friend, a mentor, a family member, or even a stranger. That one spark of faith they gave you, that one reminder of your potential was enough to get you moving again. That's the power of connection. That's the power of community. No one becomes unshakable in isolation. We grow through each other. The strongest people aren't the ones who do it all alone. They're the ones who build tribes of strength. They choose friends who hold them accountable, who challenge their excuses, who celebrate their progress, and who stand beside them when things get tough. They know that real relationships don't just make life easier, they make you better. If you want to build an unshakable life, look at your circle. Ask yourself, do these people add to my energy or take from it? Do they inspire me to grow, or do they pull me back into old habits? Do they speak life into my dreams, or do they feed my doubts? Because if you're the smartest, strongest person in every room you walk into, you're in the wrong rooms. Surround yourself with people who stretch you, people who make you uncomfortable in the best way, people who remind you of your potential every single day. Sometimes strength means walking away from familiar faces so you can step into a higher frequency. It's not rejection, it's redirection. You're not abandoning them, you're choosing your future. And maybe one day your growth will inspire them to rise too. But you can't wait for them to change before you do. You've got to lead the way. When you start surrounding yourself with strength, with people who are hungry for growth, who refuse to quit, who live with intention, everything changes. Conversations change. Energy changes. Your standards rise. Your confidence expands. You stop playing small because you're no longer surrounded by people who make you comfortable in mediocrity. You start becoming who you were meant to be. There's an old saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Life isn't a solo journey. You're not meant to carry everything on your own. You're meant to share your strength, your vision, your fire with others who are walking the same path, because together you become something greater than any one of you could be alone. So build your circle with intention. Protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. Don't settle for relationships that keep you stagnant. Seek out those who see your light even in your darkest moments, the ones who remind you who you are when you forget, the ones who won't let you quit on yourself. Because when you surround yourself with strength, you multiply your own.